Hi. I'd like to introduce you to a very easy way to make a hair card in Maya, which is a plugin that makes hair mesh based on Maya's X-Gen and sweep mesh functions. It's very easy to use, so let's get started right away. First, what you need to prepare is an Afro plugin, a face mesh with UV and a high-quality hair texture. I'll leave a download link in More and Description for downloading the Afro plugin. It's also more work efficient when you use Fibershop and another Maya plugin, REUV Fit, together. Now you can apply the Afro plugin to Maya. It's very simple to apply. Go to Windows, Settings Preferences, Hotkey Editor. Open the notepad and drag and drop the downloaded afro.py. You can do name and description at your convenience. The important point at this time is that you have to do it in Python. Copy-paste it to the runtime command editor. And then, click Save Runtime Command, and you can see that Afro has been created in Custom Scripts. You can specify the hotkey at your convenience. And save it. Next, Add or Move Guides and Sculpt Guides of X-Gen are registered as hotkey in the previous method. Please follow the video above. The important point here is that it should be Mel instead of Python. You can move it to the mouse middle button drag. This time, we will set the environment to use X-Gen. I don't know why, but since errors often occur while using the X-Gen function, setting the environment for accurate backup is necessary. First, click File, Project window. Then, click New and specify the appropriate file folder location. Then, name it and press Accept. And save the Maya file. Then, the Maya file is stored in Scene in the folder you specified. Now importing a face mesh with UV to make HairCard. Add a face mesh to the layer. Right-click the layer. Click on the Add Selected Object to add to the layer. The reason for adding layers can solve the annoyance of constantly selecting the face mesh when creating and scripting XGen guides. Now that we're all ready, let's get started with the HairCard. With the face mesh you imported selected, click Create New Description on the XGen panel and name the description and collection. And click on the Placing and Shaping Guides. And click the Create button. At this point, it's convenient to think that description is a guide group and collection is a whole hair. In other words, it's good to think that collection is a big concept and includes description in it. For example, you can name the collection Bobcut and create a XGen description like A_Bobcut_base hair, B_Bobcut_ breakdown, and C_Bobcut_ flyaway. Create a guide using the previously registered hotkey Add or Move Guides and Sculpt Guides functions and sculpt the guide according to your hair flow. The brush size can be adjusted by shift-dragging mouse left button. If you suddenly see hair in the viewport while working, click this button to turn it off. If you feel that the guide is too angled and not smooth, click Rebuild to raise the number and the guide becomes tighter. Click Utilities, Guides to Curve when you're done with guide sculpting. Click Create Curve, and the XGen guide changes to curve. Now click on the created curve and press the Afro shortcut that you registered at the beginning of the video. A HairCard is created. Adjust the slider on the controller, check what function it is. Most hair textures have the hair tip facing down. However, hair cards made with Afro have the tip facing up. So, after all the hair card work is done, you have to rotate the UV 180 degrees. And apply the texture to the hair card and rearrange the UV according to the hair texture. At this time, you can do very fast work with the RUV Fit plugin. RUV Fit is a very useful program because it is free and easy to use. There are many tutorials on YouTube. Then it's over. Here are a few things to keep in mind when using Afro. First, the pivot point of the created hair card is located at 0, 0, 0 by world, so you have to move the pivot to the center of the hair card. It's also good to register it as a hotkey. Second, when you duplicate the created hair card, the controller does not work for the duplicated hair card. Third, if you create a hair card with multiple curves selected, the created hair cards share the properties. Fourth, if you modify UV in the UV panel, the controller is not working. But you can use the same control function when you go into the Attribute Editor, Sweep Mesh Creator panel. Finally, if you delete history on your hair card, all the controllers will disappear completely. This work has used Afro. I will also upload a full workflow video using Afro later. Thank you for watching.